Bebop.
Greetings. This is artist Bebop. This is the night where I take a timer, set it for 22 minutes, and ramble about art. Here we are. So this is a little different. I am actually live streaming this because I got this live stream subscription and I need to use it. Simple. So yeah, I've started more in the spirit of my ADHD. I've started the nightly musing, but then there's Thursday nights where I do this weekly ramble. So I'm trying to compartmentalize where I put this new project or how I deal with it. And I think that will develop as I ramble here. So I don't know, I was still thinking about it as I started to do all this. But I've been like live stuff and live streaming, all of that all of this terrifies me actually. It's funny because I get compliments about this confidence I exude sometimes, and it's all false. Every time I make a video, every time I put something out there, I am terrified. But I don't know. I think when I was little, I realized that pushing myself that way is a lot of how I was going to get what I wanted to get. And that's been my experience with this stuff. So here I am, live streaming about my art. So art, I've been heavy in the commissions this week. And it's been cool. And I notice I've been slowing down on the painting process itself, which is nice. I think that started when I got into the compulsion of drawing, I think around December, because I got new materials. And actually, I have new materials. Shuttle Art, free plug, sent me, and I'm supposed to do a video with those. Those are, see, I don't know, are they Copic? What is what's the pronunciation? I don't know, but I'm excited to use them. The markers aren't traditionally what I've used. I guess I've used everything, but I've never really. It'll be good. It'll be like the little watercolor stuff I was doing, which I had a fun time with. I'll probably do more of. I was enjoying those live. I'll probably do live stuff with that. That's what the videos will probably be for their brand. But that was nice. They reached out and yeah. But it's kind of insane because I thought some markers. They'd sent me a set before and it was maybe 26. This is 200 and I'm looking at the box. 205 colors. So that'll be cool. Yeah. And then what else? I'm very disoriented. I'm very concerned about the live stream. Sorry, I'll get used to it. I'll ease into this process. Like everything else, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've been heavy in the acrylic paint this week. And yeah, I've got a lot of commissions, thankfully. So I'm still doing office space pieces. I don't know how that movie got. I get pieces of pop culture suddenly flooding back into my senses, and I think it's because I was watching Rainn Wilson do. I don't know. Her name's Bobby, but she does the interviews, and her character is awkward. That's like the shtick, and I really love them. I don't ever watch the whole segment, but I catch snippets, and so I caught part of Rainn Wilson's, and then something in pop culture that I am fascinated with is a word that a graduate professor of mine talked about when we did contemporary literature. He said the word pastiche, and none of us knew what it was. So he says pastiche, like there's Marilyn Monroe, Madonna, Britney. So in terms of Rainn Wilson and Dwight, I kind of saw it as Michael Bolton, Dwight. Not the same, but kind of this, I don't know, offshoot. And so I started with the portrait, and I'm doing one of Lumberg, but I'm putting them on. I don't know. I know 1987 Topps baseball has the wood paneling type border, and then in the 60s, that's what that set was kind of a nod to. So I'm doing the 60s version, but with Office Space characters. And so I got Michael Bolton, Milton, and then Lumberg's next. But I did, based on a suggestion. I wish I could screen cap it here. I don't have it handy, but it was done in Lumberg's voice or manner of speaking, and asked for a 1972 Topps in action of Michael Bolton having at the fax machine. Or just Mike. I'm saying his name wrong. But so that was a fun time lapse that I did. I love that piece. And I love that in action play. It's not the first time I've played with those cards, but that was a great suggestion. So if you've got those, bring them. Because I do. I love them because I don't know. I've always felt like it's like I get to play with whoever's watching, and so that's cool. But yeah, I've got a few more. I what have I done in action? I did the Godfather kiss with the. I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. Not that one sold a long time ago. And I've done Andre the Giant in action with King Kong Bundy. That was cool. And then the other ones were just actual cards from the baseball series. But I don't know. That was great. So if you have in action suggestions, I'm open to them. I love those. Yeah, I gotta get back on my time lapses. I've learned to pace myself with some of this because I've learned to, I guess, tolerate my impulses. So it's been. I was thinking about it, it's been about a year since I got treated for ADHD, and that was bizarre to start. But I think about like a year into it and the self awareness that's brought me. I can recognize not not just when I'm on medicine. Sometimes I'm not. I don't take it some days, but I can recognize the behaviors that I need to redirect. And, but then at other points, I can recognize the behaviors that have shaped me and I can appreciate that, which is, which is awesome because, it's called attention deficit. Uh, that, that whole deficit thing. It doesn't feel like a deficit. If anything, I feel like it's a bit of a gift. And then, especially having an understanding of it. I think it was harder when I didn't realize what was going on. That that was a deficit. But yeah, but yeah, I like my hyper focus. It's why I produce and produce and produce and produce work because that's where all my dopamine comes from, and that's that's a blessing, I think. No, for the people around me, it probably is just annoying, but that's okay. I'm loved anyway. Yeah, yeah. My it's taking more dad time this week. Just watching them create. That's so inspiring. I think that's the fountain of youth. Is watching it and appreciating. I appreciate their humor because I don't. I feel like my parents didn't appreciate mine, and even they're around my parents, and so I can't help but laugh at some of their stuff, and it's like okay, maybe shouldn't have done that, but it was funny. And inappropriate laughter is something that you know I uh I understand. Right. That's why I'm still thinking about this live stream thing. So I was trying to see if I could see on Instagram because I can see that I'm live, but their comments don't go through. And so I don't know. It's like I'm through a weird wall. So if you happen to be watching, I want to talk to you. But yeah, I don't know. Instagram's the only one that has a barrier, maybe. But yeah, I've been watching a few things where it says, it's good to go live, and so I've tried it on TikTok, but it's weird because I'm sitting there and it, yeah, and I've had somewhere where I talk, but it's an awkward process. Not that this is any less awkward for me, but I don't know. Through repetition, I've gotten okay at this. I think it's therapeutic. I'll say that. Like I I do. I feel like I come in here and especially on the weekly 22 minutes. So I've been doing the nightly ones, and that's a more structured thing. And I've been doing those live. So if you see me, shout at me. 'Cause, maybe I can or can't see the comments. I've been watching. I can see some viewers, so that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I love I think what really got me thinking is so, I put my art everywhere, but on TikTok, I got I'm like at 21,000 followers, which is amazing to me. I, I think that's considered maybe not much by a lot, but for an artist that's um, social media wise doesn't quite know what they're doing, I'm pretty amazed. But so part of their thing is they have things where you can work with companies, and I mentioned the markers earlier, and brands reaching out and wanting to work with you, and so yeah, I'm getting like free art supplies. But I was thinking, if you keep growing that number, I have 20,000 and 100,000. You keep growing it, and then maybe you get more than markers. Maybe maybe you get paid for talking about what you love and sharing what you love, and that's cool. That's punk. When I was young, I was worried about being punk enough. I love that kind of culture I grew up in, where I was watching the Jawbreaker documentary, which is a band, and when they signed to a major label, how the crowd just turned on them for wanting to be more successful, and that was kind of the attitude back then that was projected. And I don't think it's figured out quite how that happened, because when you listen to the musicians, and it was a music thing mainly, among them that didn't exist. So, but then I don't know. I've seen Bad Religion a few times. And I remember them taking jabs at Green Day when I saw them in the smaller venue. So, and then that's a big name in the punk scene. And so, yeah, words carry weight. And that's expression carries weight. I remember I took a film and Vietnam War class, and we got into this discussion about, I think, responsibility when making art and what it says. And are you accountable? And so, of course, as a visual artist, I chimed in and I said completely, because you are putting it out there with intent. And even if maybe you put it out there and it does something you didn't mean to, and that happens, something is way more loaded than you can fathom, because just thinking about the process, you know, I'm here we go in my circuitous rambling brain. My friend, the musical hippie, check him out. He's got a YouTube, some Instagram, but he's just so nice. He has his blog and he writes about different artists, and I am humbled to be one of them. And so I sent him a little portrait that I'd done of him, And so in that there was a postcard, a thank you postcard, and so he starts breaking down, and it's weird because he's talking about my process, and so I'm listening to him talk about what I do, and he talked about what he liked was that you could see the work, you could see the thinking, and he was pointing to all the textures and all the layers, and what that is for me that time is all of the emotion of really life. And it sounds so funny because a lot of I try, I love humor in my work, but it is, it is, it's why it comes out that way. And so sometimes, there's so much in there and it comes out and you don't know what it's going to do, but are you responsible for it? Of course. You're responsible for what came out, and you're responsible for if it had a negative effect, if you're going to keep doing it or not. Those are your decisions. That's your, yeah, it's yours. And you should be accountable. But yeah, I think that was a cohesive stream of thought there. Uh, but yeah, so I've been thinking too about the so I'm doing the nightly musing, and here we go. I'm watching the timer. That was my 22 minutes. This is post ramble. But yeah, I've been thinking about the nightly musing, and I guess just Thursday nights. It's just Friday morning, I guess. I will I'll just skip the musing because I've tapped myself out of the 22 minutes. I can go usually. It's just it's funny. It in itself is an exercise. That's about it. I'm going to outro myself here. And then I'm going to poke around, see if I can see comments on Instagram. So if you ever see the live stream, tune in if you're watching this on the re-record. Here we go. I will see you next time.
Bebop.